I'm Robert from Wordware, and I'm going to show you how to deploy and run your app via API. So once you've made a Word app that you're happy with, this is just a simple Word app that creates a poem and an image for that poem. You can deploy it, and then you can deploy it publicly or privately. And then once you hit deploy, this will be available in a number of ways. One is the app page. So it's a very simple little input, and we can decide we want to kind of create a poem about cats. Very easy to share with people. And here we go. We've got a poem being generated about cats. We're generating an image, a description of image for that, and then the image via Flux. Cool. And so now we generated a beautiful watercolor image to match with our poem. But what we probably really want to do is turn this into a product, and we could sell this product and integrate it with our own front end. And so the way to do that is to trigger this via an API. So what you first need to do after you've kind of published your app, you can go to the API docs page by clicking the little cloud button and clicking API docs. You can also access this from the deployments tab in your dashboard. But we also need to get an API key. So if you click in your little avatar in the top right corner and click API keys, you can then generate an API key. So you can give it a name, entirely optional. You get an API key that you only would see once, and then you can paste that into your console or anywhere that you need to store it as an environment variable. So I'm going to do an example of running the curl command. So I've exported my API key there, and then now we're going to run the request. And so basically every request hits the Wordware released app API endpoint, and there's a convenient little example of the curl command you can run just down here. So we paste this curl command into our console, and we see that basically we're hitting the ID of our released app with the bearer token that has the API key that we just got earlier. And there's a JSON object that is the input to this API. It has two keys. One is inputs. And so this is a key value pair of all of the data that you need to pass into your app. So we just have one input, and that's the theme. So let's write a poem about cheese this time. And then the other input is version. And there are major and minor versions. By using this little caret notation, you can pin to the latest minor version for any given major version, which stops you accidentally breaking production if you change the inputs and deploy a new version. So if I hit enter, this is now going to run. It's going to stream out the tokens as they come from the model. And so first up we have the poem that's been generated, and then next we generate the visuals, and finally it's going to generate the image, which it did just then. And so we can see this final JSON, so you get all the outputs as a big JSON object. We can open that, and here's a picture of some cheese. Oh, with a cartoon person in the corner. Fantastic. So yeah, now you know how to deploy an app and run it through the API. You can also go to the documentation and go to the kind of publish and deploy to read about this more, or go to the API page, and it will kind of show you how to trigger the API. It also has examples for running the API from Python and from JavaScript or TypeScript. Hopefully this is helpful, and yeah, exciting to see what you build with Wordware.